We are starting off with John Cena, as the C Nation leader has already made it clear that 2025 would be his final ring as an in-ring WWE performer, and that his retirement tour would include the 2025 Royal Rumble PLE. On Wednesday, Cena officially announced that he will be taking part in the Men's Royal Rumble match, the last one of his career. Cena shared the news on WWE's X account to generate buzz ahead of the ticket sale launch for the Royal Rumble event. The C Nation leader has a long and storied history with the Royal Rumble match. Over the years, he has participated in 8 Rumbles, with his first appearance dating back to 2003. Cena has won the Rumble twice, 2008 and 2013, finished as the runner-up in both 2005 and 2010, and placed third in 2018, the last time he competed in the Rumble. What are your thoughts on Cena's upcoming Royal Rumble participation? Do you think he'll enter and potentially win the match in his final appearance? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Alexa Bliss welcomed her daughter into the world last year, and since then she's been focused on her new role as a mother, with no return to WWE television so far. Her last appearance came during the 2023 Royal Rumble, where she lost to Bianca Belair in a match for the Raw Women's Championship. Recently, Bliss got fans excited by confirming that she plans to return to the ring soon. This has led many to wonder whether she'll return with her current character or introduce something new. Bliss took to Twitter to comment on a post featuring Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and a 2017 version of herself. A fan noted that no one would want to mess with the Alexa Bliss of 2017, saying, "Don't nobody want it with 2017 Alexa Bliss?" Bliss responded to the post, teasing a return to her 2017 character with the reply, "Just you wait," which sent fans into a frenzy. It's easy to see why. Alexa Bliss in 2017 was one of the most ruthless WWE superstars, dominating the mic and shutting down anyone who opposed her. Now fans are eagerly awaiting to see if Bliss will bring her 2017 persona when she eventually returns to WWE television. Do you want to see Bliss rejoin the Wyatt family, or would you prefer to see her 2017 character make a return? Share your thoughts in the comments below. In AEW news, during a backstage interview on Dynamite with Renee Paquette, MVP took charge of the conversation after expressing frustration with Renee's questions, with MVP's Hurt Syndicate standing by. Shortly after, Lashley finally broke his silence and revealed his confidence heading into the match, declaring that while Swerve Strickland may be dangerous to others, in this case it would be Strickland who needed to watch out. Lashley made it clear he was out to hurt the former AEW World Champion. Later in the evening, Swerve Strickland competed in his own match against Lio Rush, who on last week's Collision expressed his interest in joining the Hurt Syndicate before calling out Strickland for a singles match. The two had previously crossed paths in WWE back in 2020, but they had also worked together on the indie circuit before. Despite Rush giving it his all and even resorting to underhanded tactics, Strickland managed to pick up the victory over him on Dynamite. After the match, Swerve called out his Full Gear 2024 opponent Bobby Lashley to meet him in the ring. Lashley, accompanied by MVP, made his entrance, and the Hurt Syndicate made it clear that they intended to teach Strickland a lesson about strength in numbers. As Lashley prepared for a showdown with Strickland, Shelton Benjamin blindsided Swerve, and the Almighty took the opportunity to assault him outside the ring, while Benjamin held back Prince Nana. Lashley tossed Strickland back into the ring, where Benjamin delivered a DDT. The segment ended when Lashley locked in the Hurt Lock on Strickland, leaving him unconscious, while Lashley tossed Nana violently into the turnbuckle. With all the hype surrounding Lashley's debut, it seems unlikely AEW will have him lose at Full Gear, but what do you think? How would you book the match? Sound off in the comments below. Now, Swerve Strickland has long been a fan favorite despite his role as a heel in AEW. His popularity has soared over the past year, peaking during his world title run. After his victory over Lio Rush tonight, Swerve grabbed a microphone and aimed to address the crowd. He intended to tell the Bridgeport, Connecticut audience that they were looking for a fight like he was, but in a slip of the tongue, he accidentally referred to the city as Stamford instead. The mistake didn't sit well with the local fans, especially considering Stamford is home to WWE's headquarters, and the crowd quickly began chanting, "This is Bridgeport," as the segment continued. Just moments later, the Hurt Syndicate seized the opportunity, blindsiding Swerve and choking him out with a devastating move from Bobby Lashley. Meanwhile, the crowd continued their chants of Bridgeport, undeterred by the chaos unfolding in the ring. More from Dynamite as MJF likes putting his future opponents through a gambit before they get a match with him. This time, Adam Cole has his eyes on a match with the Salt of the Earth, but MJF declared that Cole must win 3 matches in a row before that happens, and the November 13th AEW Dynamite was a big night for that storyline. Adam Cole already beat Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black to rake in his first 2 wins. He needed another one to lock in his Full Gear match against MJF on November 23rd. Also in line for a match with MJF is Roderick Strong, with already 2 wins in his bag, who was set to take on Lance Archer. Strong defeated Archer with a jumping knee over the barricade after interference from Brian Cage to help out Archer, and Matt Taven and Mike Bennett to even out the odds for Strong. Following the match, Konosuke Takeshita blindsided Strong as Don Callis was paid off by MJF to keep Strong and Cole from advancing to the 3 wins they needed to get to Full Gear. That brought out Cole, and the bell rang for their match. Cole looked like he had the match won with a Panama Sunrise, but Takeshita rolled out of the ring and grabbed MJF's Dynamite Diamond Ring from underneath the ring and hit Cole with it before pinning him for the victory. Strong hit Takeshita from behind after the match and was also hit with the ring for his troubles. Kyle O'Reilly appeared to help his former friends armed with a chair. Cole offered a handshake to O'Reilly, but he chose not to accept and left the ring. This was a big loss for Adam Cole, meaning he wouldn't get his MJF match. In the end, Roderick Strong is the one who was given that match against MJF, which was quite a swerve indeed. More news from the Salt of the Earth as MJF was involved in one of AEW's most memorable rivalries with CM Punk in 2021 and 2022, a feud that played a significant role in boosting AEW's reputation. However, due to CM Punk's abrupt exit from AEW, the rivalry with MJF never reached its proper conclusion. Despite this, MJF has openly acknowledged the impact Punk had on him, highlighting the importance of their storyline. Recently, MJF attended the Big Event convention in New York, where he took part in meet and greets and signed a variety of merchandise. In a surprising moment, MJF took the opportunity to leave an unexpected message for CM Punk on an action figure of himself as the Devil from All Out 2022. With his signature, MJF wrote, "Punk," making it clear that his disdain for the Second City Saint remains strong. Do you agree that the MJF vs. Punk rivalry from 2021 to 2022 stands as one of AEW's most memorable feuds? Share your thoughts in the comments below. WWE news now, as the Stamford-based promotion has been teasing the potential breakup of several tag teams heading into WrestleMania 41, with The New Day and Grayson Waller and Austin Theory among the teams rumored to be going their separate ways in the coming months. However, one of the most anticipated splits is between WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, who have recently shown signs of tension. Fans are eagerly awaiting to see if these tensions will escalate into a major showdown between the 2 stars. According to WrestleVotes, who discussed this on Backstage Pass with Bill Apter, WWE has concrete plans to split Cargill and Belair and has already begun setting the stage for their breakup, although the exact timing remains unclear. This feud will be even more compelling given the real-life animosity between Cargill and Bianca Belair, as we covered yesterday. Do you want to see Cargill and Belair split up? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, Ricochet made a name for himself in WWE from 2018 until his departure earlier this year, and is now making waves in AEW. However, his move has not come without its share of controversy. Recently, Ricochet took to Twitter for a candid rant aimed at WWE fans who have turned against him since his switch to AEW. In a series of now deleted tweets, Ricochet expressed his disappointment with fans who once supported him but now criticize him simply because he changed promotions. The acrobatic wrestler also called out the toxicity of social media, highlighting how the negativity has not only impacted him, but also his fiancée, Samantha Irvin. Ricochet didn't hold back, openly calling out the double standards in wrestling. He pointed out how fans who once supported his wife now criticize her, and reflected on his time on the independent circuit, where he felt truly respected for his wrestling abilities before joining WWE. Shortly after the tweets were removed, Ricochet responded by dismissing the situation, claiming they were fake, with a tweet that read, "Bahahaha, this is fake." However, the denial did not stop fans from piling on, accusing Ricochet of being overly sensitive and embarrassing himself with repeated online outbursts. In support of her fiancé, Samantha Irvin chimed in with a tweet that simply read, "Fake tweets, standing by Ricochet amid the backlash." Despite the drama, fans who continue to support Ricochet hope he'll focus less on responding to online negativity for the sake of his career. Do you think Ricochet and Samantha Irvin's denials are enough to put the Twitter controversy to rest? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Back to AEW as this week's AEW Dynamite kicked off with the Death Riders in a chaotic segment. Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli ambushed JD Drake with a chair at the entrance before Jon Moxley made his way to the ring, emerging from the crowd. Moxley wasted no time addressing Orange Cassidy, saying he's been thinking about him a lot lately. He criticized OC for not stepping up to protect Chuck Taylor or Wheeler Yuta when he had the chance. Moxley declared it his mission to make an example out of Orange Cassidy and promised to mutilate him so badly even his mother wouldn't recognize him. Moxley further emphasized that the Death Riders would continue to do what they wanted in AEW because they hold all the power. Just as he was finishing his rant, Cassidy made his way to the ring, flanked by Mark Briscoe and Rocky Romero. Keeping his trademark cool, Cassidy acknowledged that Moxley would likely follow through on his threats. He reminded Moxley that despite not being a fan of wrestling, he's very good at it, and he would defeat Moxley once again, this time for the AEW World title. Cassidy then announced a match for next week's Dynamite where he'll face Wheeler Yuta, calling him a pawn protecting the king. Moxley fired back, vowing to make Cassidy abandon all hope at Full Gear on November 23rd, setting the stage for a highly anticipated showdown. While no physical confrontation took place between the two factions during this segment, things escalated quickly. As Moxley and his team were leaving, they were attacked by Darby Allin, forcing the Death Riders to retreat. A wild brawl spilled into the parking lot, with chaos unfolding as Allin and the conglomeration fought off the group. In a surprising twist, AEW had previously announced that Moxley and his faction were planning to seize control of the TBS Superstation, but it was unclear what their intentions were. After the brawl, the commentary team praised Allin and the conglomeration for stopping Moxley's takeover attempt, leaving fans wondering what the Death Riders had in store before they were interrupted. What do you think of AEW's booking of the Death Riders so far? Who do you see coming out on top at Full Gear? Sound off in the comments below. Will Ospreay made his return to Dynamite after a 3-week recovery from a brutal Tiger Driver delivered by his former friend Kyle Fletcher. Ospreay called out Fletcher, confronting the former ROH World Television Champion and making it clear that despite Fletcher's attempts to distance himself from Ospreay, he's following the same path of betrayal and resentment that Ospreay once walked. Fletcher, determined to surpass Ospreay, challenged him to a grudge match at AEW Full Gear. Ospreay accepted, setting the stage for a showdown on November 23rd at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. With Fletcher accompanied by his Don Callis family allies, he threatened Ospreay, but the aerial assassin was quickly joined by his friends Mark Davis and Powerhouse Hobbs. The situation escalated into a massive brawl, which spilled over into the scheduled match between Roderick Strong and Lance Archer. Fletcher's animosity towards Ospreay isn't limited to in-ring confrontations. He also betrayed Ospreay at WrestleDream last month, costing him the AEW International Championship to help the Don Callis family member Konosuke Takeshita win the title. Who is winning between Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay at Full Gear? Please share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below. Tag team action next as the Kings of the Black Throne earned themselves a shot at the AEW Tag Team Championship at Full Gear after a dominant performance on Dynamite. Brody King secured the victory for himself and Malachi Black by choking out FTR's Dax Harwood, guaranteeing their spot in the upcoming title match. On November 23rd, Private Party's tag titles will be on the line in a 4-way tag match, with Black and King now joining the Outrunners in the mix after their win on Wednesday night. As for the match itself, Black and Wheeler kicked things off for their respective teams with an exciting back-and-forth sequence. Both teams delivered solid offense, but FTR had the upper hand for much of the first half. Black spent a considerable amount of time in the ring, but once he finally tagged out, a fresh Brody King made a huge impact, taking control and cleaning house. The match reached its peak with both teams coming close to victory on multiple occasions. However, it was Brody King who ultimately sealed the win, putting Dax Harwood to sleep to secure the victory. After the match, the victorious Kings of the Black Throne took a moment to show respect for their fallen opponents, continuing the sportsmanship narrative that had started with Black's recent loss to Adam Cole. With the AEW Tag Team Championships on the line at Full Gear on November 23rd, who do you think will walk away with the gold? Share your predictions in the comments below. More from AEW as AEW TBS champion Mercedes Moné held that title since May 2024 and has had some incredible defenses. She's retained her championship against Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, Skye Blue, and others. Moné has cemented her legacy as one of the top TBS champions in AEW. However, Mercedes Moné might face her biggest challenge at Full Gear when she faces Chris Statlander. Last week, Mercedes and Camille tried to run over Chris with a car but failed. On tonight's edition, Renee Paquette interviewed the duo, and Chris Statlander attacked them backstage. While the heels were trying to stop the powerhouse, Statlander put the champion through a wall. Who, in your opinion, will walk out as the TBS champion at Full Gear? In recent months, several AEW talents have been sidelined by injuries, forcing changes, delays, or cancellations to booking plans. Both former AEW World Champion Kenny Omega and former AEW TBS Champion Julia Hart appear to be on a path to returning, but a new report offers updates on other injured roster members, including Willow Nightingale and Skye Blue. Blue's last match was in July when she sustained an ankle injury during her bout with Hikaru Shida at the AEW Collision taping on July 20th. Nightingale has been out of action since late October after suffering a concussion in her Team Mexico vs. Team World match at the CMLL International Women's Grand Prix on October 25th. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful via Fightful Select, the outlook for Skye Blue's return is not promising, with Sapp noting that she has a while before being ready to compete again. As for Willow Nightingale, Sapp reports that creative plans involving her were delayed due to her injury. Additionally, Sapp mentions that Cole Carter, who has been recovering from a broken arm since June, is either cleared to return or close to being cleared, with his comeback expected soon. More from AEW is on the July 10th episode of AEW Dynamite. Samoa Joe and Chris Jericho faced off in a Canadian Stampede street fight. In an unexpected twist, Jericho used a forklift to lift Joe and drive him through a wall. The match was halted when Joe was unable to continue and he was stretchered out and taken to the hospital. Joe's absence from AEW television was part of a planned break as he took time off to film Season 2 of Twisted Metal for Peacock. In the series, Joe portrays the physical role of Sweet Tooth, with Will Arnett providing the character's voice. Are you excited for Samoa Joe's return to AEW? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Dynamite also witnessed Britt Baker in action as the Doctor's most recent match took place on October 2nd, 2024, during a special AEW Dynamite episode celebrating the company's 5-year anniversary. In front of her hometown crowd, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, secured a victory over Serena Deeb. This week, Baker was back in action facing Penelope Ford in singles competition. Fans were excited to see Baker step into the ring again, especially as Ford continued her efforts to make a name for herself in AEW's women's division. Ford, who had been sidelined for an extended period due to injury, made her return in October. Prior to that, her last match had taken place on February 6, 2023 in DDT Pro Wrestling. The match itself was far from one-sided as Ford took control for a good portion of the contest. The two women began with some chain wrestling, but Baker was the first to land a strike, connecting with a punch to Ford's face. Ford attempted to create distance, drawing Baker outside the ring during a commercial break. While the pace picked up after the break, the slow start seemed to dampen the crowd's energy, and there was an undeniable lack of chemistry between the two competitors. Both women have delivered stronger performances in the past. Ultimately, Baker claimed victory, locking in her signature lockjaw submission for the win. While it was a hard-fought win for Dr. Britt Baker DMD, the question remains, what's next for her? After the match, Serena Deeb appeared at the entrance, making it clear that she has her sights set on Baker. In typical Baker fashion, she responded with a dismissive "nobody cares" as Deeb stood at the top of the ramp. What are your thoughts on Britt Baker's return and possible feud with Deeb? Share your opinion in the comments below. Dynamite also saw Chris Jericho, who accepted a challenge from Tomohiro Ishii, setting up a high-stakes ROH World Championship match. Jericho will defend his title against Ishii on the November 27th edition of AEW Dynamite, making it a must-see showdown ahead of the holiday. For those unfamiliar, Tomohiro Ishii, known as the Stone Pitbull, is a dominant force in the ring with a reputation for delivering hard-hitting, intense matches. This highly anticipated clash promises to bring plenty of excitement as the ROH World Championship will be on the line. The November 27th show will also mark the return of the AEW Continental Classic, further heightening the excitement. While no specific matches for the tournament have been announced yet, its return has already generated significant buzz among AEW fans eager to see who will compete. With Jericho defending his championship and the Continental Classic set to make its return, this pre-Thanksgiving edition of AEW Dynamite is shaping up to be an unmissable event for wrestling fans. Are you excited for Chris Jericho's title defense against Tomohiro Ishii and the return of the Continental Classic? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Julia Hart once again captivated fans with a chilling new vignette that aired during Dynamite, following the eerie video from the November 9th episode of AEW Collision. The second installment continues to deepen the mystery surrounding her dark transformation, sparking both excitement and speculation throughout the wrestling community. In the latest vignette, Hart is shown waking up in a disoriented state, her white shirt ominously stained with blood. A disconnected phone rings, adding to the surreal atmosphere, and when she answers, her voice distorts in a haunting manner. The tension intensifies as Hart rushes to the washroom, where brief flashes show her screaming and clutching her head in pain. The intrigue reaches its peak when Hart walks towards a door bathed in red light. Upon opening it, she's handed a black hat and a bow and arrow, symbols that evoke images of her wielding them in a shadowy forest. The vignette closes on this unsettling note, leaving fans with more questions than answers and heightening anticipation for her return. Hart has been absent from AEW programming since losing the TBS Championship to Willow Nightingale at AEW Dynasty in April. And in an October interview, she teased a potential comeback, and with these mysterious vignettes, it seems her return is fast approaching. What do you think Julia Hart's return will mean for AEW? Will she seek redemption, or is something darker at play? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. AEW Dynamite opened with Christian Cage and Hangman Adam Page making separate entrances for the opening bout against Jay White and Juice Robinson. Hangman and Switchblade locked up and made a clean break on the ropes. Their early exchanges were relatively simple and reserved when considering how much these two claim to hate each other. Nick Wayne interfered by kicking Robinson behind the ref's back. Hangman and Captain Charisma seemed to have a bit of friction at one point when Page didn't want to tag in at first. It makes sense that they wouldn't get along just because they're both heels, so it was nice to see that little detail included. Hook appeared in the crowd and pulled Nick Wayne over the barricade. They fought out of the arena while Robinson used the distraction to take control. This was a fun and energetic tag match. There was nothing to complain about, but it definitely left room for other bouts on the card to outshine it. Thanks to a distraction from Shayna Wayne and a shot to Robinson's head from Kip Sabian, Hangman was able to score the win. This was a solid 15-minute bout to get the show going. We are ending with JBL as the Texan is embracing a new chapter in his storied wrestling career, revealing that he's been making waves on the independent scene and social media with exciting plans on the horizon. The WWE Hall of Famer, known for his time as a dominant champion and commentator, has found fresh passion in returning to his roots and taking control of his career, and credits longtime friend Bruce Pritchard. JBL said the advice he received from Pritchard has fueled his current success. Speaking on the Something to Wrestle With podcast, JBL revealed that his work on the independent circuit and social media has been strategically planned. The former WWE champion hinted at more to come, but kept specifics under wraps, adding a sense of intrigue for fans who have missed seeing him in the wrestling spotlight. Are you excited to see what JBL has planned for his return to wrestling? What do you think could be next for the wrestling legend? Share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section below.